That summer in England felt like it wasn't on any calendar, as if time itself had looked away and let you live in a pocket of something warmer, deeper, and impossibly kind. The days were long, and so was her gaze. You had just turned 21, and Eliana made everything feel cinematic. She laughed like someone who had never been hurt, and kissed like she'd been waiting for you for years. You met in late May, in a park that smelled like wet soil and lilacs. She was reading a book upside down. You still don't know if she meant to, and when you passed her, she looked up and smiled as though she knew your name already. By June, you were inseparable. She called you Sky Girl because you always looked up when you spoke, like your words came from somewhere higher. You called her Sunburn. She arrived suddenly, made you feel too much, and left marks that wouldn't fade. Those 3 months taught you what forever could feel like, even if it wasn't. You lay on old quilts in the grass, kissed in the rain, stole cigarettes from corner shops, and listened to records in her childhood bedroom. Her mother liked you. Her friends didn't know, but she held your hand under pub tables and brushed her thumb over your knuckles. Like a secret promise, you didn't talk about the end until her suitcase appeared by the door. She had to leave. It was always the plan. A return ticket, an internship back home, a life 3,500 miles away. You tried not to cry. She didn't. At the station, her eyes were red, and she held your face like you might vanish. "I love you," she whispered. "I love you too." And that should have been enough. Autumn came. The flamingos migrated as if even the birds couldn't bear to stay in a world without her. You left the porch light on for weeks, just in case. Every night, you stared at the door and thought, what if she shows up? What if she forgot something? What if she comes back for me? She didn't. But she texted every day, voice notes, late night calls, her voice across wires and seas, always laced with longing. "You have to come see me," she said one night. In December, her voice small with hope. And something in you broke open. You booked a flight with the last of your money, told your boss you'd be back soon. Everyone looked at you like you were insane, but they didn't know what it felt like to be away from her. The airport smelled like cold metal and distance. You chain-smoked outside the terminal, flicked ash into a December wind that didn't belong to you. 5 hours later, there she was in the arrivals lounge, in a too-thin coat, smiling like a lighthouse. You held each other for what felt like a lifetime. Maybe it was Christmas. Then New Year's. Her family was kind, offered you plates and stories, knitted scarves and spare bedrooms, but you never felt like you belonged. You were a guest in a love story that was only yours when the doors were closed. Some nights, she was distant. Others, she clung to you like she knew it was unraveling. You had 30 days. You tried to make each one last longer than the sun. But what do two young hearts know about holding on? Your last night, snow fell. She stood by the window, her breath fogging the glass, and said, "Maybe I'm getting old, but I wish I could hold you like this forever." You didn't answer. You couldn't. At Heathrow, your cheeks were cracked with dried tears. You hugged like liars, said, "See you soon," like people who didn't believe in endings on the plane. You cried until you couldn't breathe. The flight attendant offered water. You didn't drink it. Back in Cyprus, the heat mocked. You had nothing left. Spent your last euro on cigarettes, lit one just outside the non-smoking terminal, and didn't care who saw. You couldn't eat. You couldn't speak. You cried so hard one night, you threw up in the bathroom sink. Everything inside you was grief, sharp and shapeless. You stopped answering messages. Your friends came by, saw the sadness behind your eyes, and stopped asking. You wrote until your fingers ached, trying to make sense of a love that had no ending, just an absence. And then came the call. She said, "I can't do this." You sat down slowly on the floor. "You know the reasons," she added, gently. Like that made it hurt less. "But I love you," you whispered. "I know." Silence. Click. It felt like the whole world turned to static. You stared at the ceiling, waiting to feel something other than nothing. You didn't die, not physically, but parts of you never came back. April arrived. So did your birthday balloons, friends, laughter. None of it reached you. You stepped into the stairwell, dialed her number with shaking hands. When she answered, it felt like sunlight on your skin after months in a cave. "Hi," you said. "Hey," she replied, "you talked about nothing, small, silly things. Weather, books, dogs barking in the background." And then silence. You didn't remember what you meant to say. You just listened. Her voice was the best gift you ever got. Even if it was the last one. When you hung up, you cried. But it was a soft cry. Not the breaking kind, the missing kind. The kind that lets you know love like that never truly leaves. Even now, years later, you keep the porch light on sometimes, though you no longer expect her to come back. Some part of you just likes knowing that if she ever did, she'd know where to find you.